All right, let's go over this slide. Now, I'm not going to go over the exact dissolving process right now. I'm going to do that on a blank document so you can see me as I draw it. I think that'll be the best way. So let's just go over the like dissolves like rule. The like dissolve like rule is pretty simple. Okay, if something is polar, it will dissolve something that's has similar polarity. So polar things dissolve polar things, nonpolar things dissolve nonpolar things. If something's really polar and something's nonpolar, they're not going to dissolve. Okay, they're not going to dissolve. All right, they're not going to form a solution. As you can see over here, we have H2O being mixed together with CCl4. Okay. Now, if you look at CCl4, Cl, 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 Cl. Taking a look at that, how do you know, let's say you didn't have this picture. How do you know CCl4 is nonpolar? Well, look at the symmetry here. Okay, remember, if something's symmetric, it's nonpolar. Okay? Now, we can tell just from this visual right here that CCl4 is nonpolar. Why is that? Well, we know that water is polar, for sure. We know this. Okay? Well, if you take a look, you see how there's layers? Okay? And I have color-coded them, obviously, so you can see it. So if we see layers, that means it's a heterogeneous mixture or a suspension. Okay? A solution has not been formed. Therefore, these can't have the same polarity. They must have opposite polarities. Okay? Then over here, if you take a look at I2 versus CCl4, this looks like one uniform composition. They must have similar polarities. They got it. Okay, and that means one dissolves the other, and it forms a solution. Okay. All right. So that is the like dissolves like rule. And I went over this question on our answer key, but I'll go over that again. Okay. So it's explained in terms of polarity why antifreeze dissolves in water, but motor oil does not. Well, ethylene glycol, it says it dissolves in water. That must mean ethylene glycol is polar, and obviously we know water is polar too. So they both are polar, they dissolve. Okay. Now, oil and water, oil is definitely nonpolar. Okay. Oil is nonpolar. Water being polar, oil being nonpolar, guess what? They do not dissolve. Therefore, they do not form a solution. They form a heterogeneous mixture or a suspension. Okay?